Well, they get scared. I already know. I just stumbled. I tripped on a Lego for my son or something. And to them, it's like, what's going on? Are you okay? They're like extra, like, careful. Like if a little firecracker went off and everybody stumbles, they're like, what's going on? We're good. It's not MS.
The MS Positive podcast is a platform where people living with multiple sclerosis come to share everything else they do with their lives aside from being an MS patient. Among our guests are artists, singers, bloggers, actors, authors, DJs, and much more. And yeah, also health professionals because we have to stay in the know. We're more than MS. Welcome to the MS Positive podcast. Today we have Jovany Hernandez. He's a disc jockey, co-owner of ATM Sounds and Events, also known as DJ Gio, who was diagnosed with RMS after nearly 2 years of on and off symptoms that several trips to the urgent care and doctor's offices, a CAT scan, a spinal tap, an ultrasound, and an MRI still couldn't explain. Jovany took charge and started doing his own research since his symptoms began. After getting his MS diagnosis, he participates and volunteers at MS events and continues to be an active member of the MS community. Welcome to the show, Jovany. How are you today?
Pretty good in yourself. Thanks for having me.
Very good. So I'm happy you're here finally. A couple of years in the making, trying to been chasing you.
Too long.
You're a busy man, but you're doing very well.
That is true.
Yeah, you're doing very well. So we're happy for you, right? So like I mentioned, you are a DJ, a very successful one in the area of Miami, Florida. You've been busy. Let's start off with your MS diagnosis story, your symptoms. How did you get on this train?
As anyone that has this unfortunate disease will tell you, it takes a long time to actually get the final diagnosis. The symptoms that I produced was, in the beginning, was actually very rare. It's something called testicular pain. That's the first symptom I ever experienced with radiating numbness to the leg. So, of course, the doctors went saying, okay, we have to do an ultrasound down there. Embarrassing moments. We're like doing ultrasounds and they're just checking me out. And they're like, okay, it may be a hydrocele and a varicocele, and you may need testicular surgery. We might have to, unfortunately, take one of those away from you because you have an issue going on there. But in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking there's something else that's going on, something more serious. This can't be it. Then, of course, time went by and those symptoms subsided. And you're like, okay, I think I'm doing fine. A couple months later, right back to it again, right back to the urgent care, then back to the hospital, MRIs, CAT scans, spinal taps. Could it be MS? Could it be ATEM? That's what they finally gave me a diagnosis for in the beginning, which it's like mimic MS, but they didn't diagnose me with that. So, of course, going back and forth to the hospital so many times, you just get frustrated. You're like, okay, if it's not testicular issues, what could this be? I need to take a pause from here. I need to just let it take its course. I'll be fine. So, of course, time went by, and I'm having relapse after relapse, but I'm actually not getting seen by this anymore because I know it's going to come, it's going to hit, and it's going to go away. But then I was having different symptoms. Now my right hand is feeling tingly and numb. Okay, then all of a sudden my right leg is bouncing back and forth. Finally, during the Christmas time of 2017, I had facial numbness. So they almost diagnosed me with something called Bell's palsy. But I didn't have the same exact symptoms of Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy makes your face droopy. What I had was if you ever been to the dentist and they inject you with lidocaine or something to numb your face or your gums and stuff, imagine feeling that, but on the entire left side of your face. Not complete paralysis. You have complete sensibility, but you're just numb. You feel like that numbing sensation that when you go to the dentist, and it's constant, nonstop. Go to my primary care physician. He goes, you should go to the hospital. This is December 23rd, by the way. And of course, I said, I'm going to wait until the after the holidays. Maybe it'll subside. Didn't subside. December 26th. I said, all right, Christmas is over. These symptoms are getting even worse now. Let me go take this care of. Went to the hospital. Finally did another MRI. And within hours, doctor comes in and says, it's multiple sclerosis. You have more lesions in your brain. You have some in your cervical spine now. We can conclude that this is what you have. You have multiple sclerosis. Of course, I was relieved. At that moment, I was sad, scared, relieved because I said, okay, I know what's going on now. Let me try and take care of it. I am definitely not going crazy. There's absolutely something really going on with me. What's the next step? What do I do now? And that's when I actually got diagnosed.
So during that time that you were having those symptoms and you went to the doctor, the urgent care, like how long did it take more or less for you to finally get to the final diagnosis of multiple sclerosis?
It took approximately 18 months. The worst relapse I would have to say that I went through was the vertigo and radiating numbness, as well as the double vision. So I actually lost my peripherals. I was not technically completely blind, but I couldn't see anything around me, and everything was completely double vision. I would see you here, and then I see you up here. It was a little freaky. That's when they diagnosed me with ATEM, and they did 2 spinal taps with another MRI. The MRI was actually 6 hours long. I ended up catching claustrophobia because of that MRI, the longevity of it.
Did you have all three done?
But all 3 times 2, because they did it with and without contrast. And that's the reason why, because it was 45 minutes times 6, basically. And they did it continuously. By the fourth and a half hour, 5th hour, I was already on the last picture. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to get out of there. They had to take me out and give me a calming agent. That was not easy.
Wow, everything start itching at that moment, doesn't it? Everything itches. You
You're
can't
trying
move, but
not to
everything.
move, but yeah, it's really hard to stand still or sit still for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
5 hours. That's insane. That's intense.
Yeah, and all the urges. Oh, I need to use the bathroom. To scratch my nose. Oh, something is itching my foot. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
When you know
you
you
start getting
cannot
into your
move.
head. It's like as when you can't move, everything itches at that moment for some reason.
In my case, my not only everything start itching because I actually that's one of my MS symptoms. I itch everywhere, especially when I am trying to relax. Like when I'm trying to sleep, I itch all over. So it takes me a while to fall asleep. But then when I'm in the MRI machine, then my legs get jittery. So you're supposed to move, and then I'm like constantly like moving. I found a way to so they don't catch it. We try to make
Oh,
it work, but whatever. It's just the way I have been able to
whatever
handle it
works.
because I don't want to get out. I just want to get it done, and I usually get all three of them at the same time,
No,
with and
that's tough.
without contrast. I just want to get it off the way.
Yeah, no. At this point, I don't do all of them at the same time anymore. I just do either the brain and the cervical, and that's it.
So after you were diagnosed and you found the treatment that worked for you, you became an ambassador for the medication Obasho. Tell me a little bit about it. How is it to be an ambassador for DMT?
I absolutely love, enjoyed, and terribly miss being an ambassador for that program. It was a lot of fun, and it was also very heartwarming knowing that my story is reaching out to individual people that have and are possibly suffering from the same things or similar things that I suffered from, and just being able to share that story and maybe giving that individual person that push to say maybe this is the right treatment for me, maybe this might work. It's not for everyone. Obviously, everybody's symptoms are different, everybody's treatment is different. What works for one might not work for the other. But if they were looking for an answer and I'm able to just fulfill those answers by giving them my story and how well it went with me when I started that treatment, it was very heartwarming. It was very gratifying. Although I was being compensated for being there, deep down inside, I really didn't do it for that. I did it because I was connecting with people on a personal level around the United States that actually suffer from the same things that I suffer from. I loved it.
You actually got to travel as an
Yeah,
ambassador. You went around the country
yeah,
sharing your
yeah.
story. That's good. That was a
I loved
pretty
it. So
cool.
I was able to see snow for the first time thanks
Oh,
to the ambassador program.
nice.
I was 32 years old or 31 when I finally got to see snow. Being from Miami, we don't see snow here.
Yeah, no,
It doesn't exist.
I feel
We get
you.
3 cold days out of the year.
I lived in Florida for 22 years, and of course, there's no snow. Where I'm now, we're expecting
Never.
snow any time. Hopefully, we'll
Oh,
get to
good
see it.
luck.
We'll see. Um,
I'll pass. The cold is bad for me.
It's very cold. Yeah, it's very cold. In the spring of 2021, you were featured in the Momentum magazine for the National MS Society. Ironically, it's the edition that I was featured as well. We still at that point didn't know each other, but then I learned about you through the magazine because I was actually doing the shooting of the pictures for that. You were there, and we had the magazine in front of us, and the photographer that was taking my pictures happened to be the one that took your pictures, and that's how I learned
I remember.
about you, and then we connected that way. How did they find you?
I guess they found me because of how open I was to this disease. I didn't let this disease stop me, and I took this on full force. So especially when I first got diagnosed, I was going to every seminar, I was going to every meeting, I was going to every support group. I was trying to reach the younger generation because every single time I go to an MS support group, everyone that's there is either in a wheelchair, they're in some type of mobility scooter, they're on their end of term, end of life, or it's just a very bad outlook. And when I went and I saw that and I finally got to connect with those individual people, I got to learn more about them and say, okay, wait, this is not maybe my future. I'm younger. I'm taking care of this. They were unfortunate to be diagnosed at a time where there wasn't any medication for MS. There wasn't anything for them. And of course, unfortunately, they progressed so much so that, they're in the situation that they're in, but it doesn't necessarily have to be my future. So I said, what can I do to change this? How can I reach a younger crowd of people that unfortunately get diagnosed with this, that don't have anyone to turn to, don't have anyone young that's there, doesn't have anybody that has any experience with my age? So I said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to really tackle this. I took off my brace, unfortunately, because it actually broke. I got to get another one, but not a brace, I'm sorry, wristband, and I really am out there. So my thing is everyone makes fun of me because even when I meet new people and they just met me, I'm like, hey, how are you? I'm Jovany. Oh, by the way, I have multiple sclerosis. If you don't know what that is, look it up. This is something that's real. So I became an advocate to just try to spread the word, try to spread knowledge, because I know of a couple of individual people that because of me doing what I did, were able to go get a second opinion, get checked out. And unfortunately, they were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. But to know that I was the person that led them to believe that these are similar symptoms to what I had, or to what is known as the 17 unfortunate symptoms that you can have from MS, you should go get checked out. Lo and behold, they actually had it the entire time. That's like, wow, okay, I have to continue doing this. I have to be at every support group. I have to be everywhere. Of course, now I'm not as open advocating as much as I should be. I know it's bad, but I did start my new career a year ago, and it's been taking a lot of my time. I have a new baby on the way, and I have a 6-year-old son. So I obviously have to consider that I have to take care of my household at the moment. So I slowed it down drastically, especially after COVID.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, but I agree with you 100%. There is, unfortunately, the impression that people get from attending a support group for the first time is exactly what you just said. People in wheelchairs. I see the crowd that are like older in age, like right? Like what you said, there's not,
Everyone's older.
yeah, there's not as many young people that are involved with support groups. It doesn't mean that there's no room for them, or that they are not newly diagnosed, that are young. Actually, there is a lot. And that's one of the things that I have discussed before that is a concern for me as a leader in the community. I feel like that part of the MS population should be tackled in a way I still have not, figure out how, because they have to have the interest to attend support groups, and it doesn't seem to be there. But I'm sure that they need support. I mean, it is the best way, in my opinion, for you to stay sane. You need to connect. You need to talk to people that you can relate to, and not like hide it or ignore it.
And that's the biggest issue I
Right?
saw.
It is and deny it. It's
100%.
like they go through the denial
Yeah.
period for too long.
Yes.
I don't think that's
100%.
good. Not only with multiple sclerosis, any issue that you have, you should not deny it. You should, process it, acknowledge it, own it, process it, and move on. So it doesn't become depression, anxiety, or whatever other psychological issues, or even worse diseases, because your body reacts to whatever you bottle up, right? So I agree with you. Yeah, there is a lack of younger generations attendance and participation to the groups and also other MS events. You mentioned your business. You opened it a year ago. You're a DJ, very successful. How was that transition? When we first talked, you were putting together your business, establishing, and now it took off.
It did. I'm blessed. Yes. In the year 2023, January 2nd to be exact, I decided to do a merger so I call him my brother, but he's not actually my brother, but he was the best man at my wedding. And it just so happens that his father was the best man at my wedding. So it was the father-son duo. They're both named Arturo, same exact name. I started with the father. The father taught me everything that I know. He taught his son, which is my now business partner, everything that he knows. And we were doing great on our own. So my brother, I would like to call him that because he's like a brother to me, my partner. He had his own venture going. I had my own venture going. He was very good at the technical side of it. So the invoicing, the paper trail, the paperwork, the financials. I was just really good at connecting with the clients and bringing the work in. And he was really good at sealing the deal and drawing up the contracts. I'm like, why don't we just join forces? Yeah, our income will be a little bit less, but I think in longevity, we will be able to build from there. So when we had our meeting, it happens to be, I'll never forget the time because it was at Cheesecake Factory. We're here like brothers and we're here with our own spouses and we're having a meeting and we're talking about business. We're like, business and family kind of is not really good everybody says that it's a telltale sign you shouldn't combine the two. But this one just made sense. It just really did. And when we had the meeting, we're like, I think I have a lot to bring to the table. I think you could have a lot to bring to the table. Let's just see if we join forces, if we can work this out together. And he was very supportive of my diagnosis with MS because he knows I do a lot of work for the MS community. And I like to donate my services as much as possible and give drastic 80% discounts and just like give them as much as we can. Whatever we can do for free. If we can't do it, we'll find someone, we'll pay them out of pocket, and let's just get these things done so we can have a bigger outreach in the community of MS. And he's very supportive of that because every single time, if ever I don't feel good or something like that, he'll take over the business. If I need to take a couple of days off because I'm feeling MS fatigue, he'll just take full force. And he didn't even ask me any questions. I'm just like, partner, I'm not feeling too good. He goes, what do we need? Let me look at the calendar. All right, don't worry about it. Go home. Go rest.
That's very good.
So he's actually been a huge help. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah. He's great people. And we were just together last night. We were networking at a networking event just late last night.
Wow. You're always partying.
We're close. I wouldn't call that partying. We were venturing out trying to find new events, but we projected to make a certain number by the year 2025. We actually made that number 7 months into opening the business. And the amount of contractual agreements that we wanted to make for the year of 2024 this year, we surpassed that number by 40% in 2023. So in just the private sector, not including the clubs, we actually fulfilled 680 contracts in the year 2023, which is, if you think about it, almost 2 events per day. It's a lot.
Congratulations.
So we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. You should be proud of yourself.
We're in my new office, so we were able to build an office. We wanted to get an office by 2024, 2025. We said we need an office space now. We were able to get it October of last year. Within 10 months of opening our business, we now have a space where we can work. I'm in my office now.
That's great. That's great. You had a great idea. It was just obvious that you guys should join forces.
Yes.
The best
financial decision I've ever made in my career.
The best of the two worlds together, huh? I'm really happy. I'm really happy for you. When it comes to MS, as we heard already, you are very busy. So how have you reconciled your busy life, living with multiple sclerosis, being a parent and a husband? How have you been able to maneuver all that and shuffle all the things and keep MS at bay as much as you can?
I regularly just make sure that I'm taking my medications. If there's ever an issue with insurances because the medication is going to be late, I ride on the people that will get it done to make sure I get my medication. I take it on a normal basis, and I'm in constant communications with all of my physicians, my doctors, and the people that help me. And, they're always aware of what's going on in my life in the sense of if I'm not feeling right. So I get a lot of checkups. So they say you should see the doctor once every 6 months, 6 to 12 months. I go to my doctor every 2 months and I'm getting blood work done. I'm getting an MRI every 6 months. Even if it's not scheduled, I pay for it out of pocket because I want to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on. If I don't feel right, I immediately call my wife, first person I always talk to, and I let her know. Right now, I haven't called her much because she is 7 months pregnant, so I kind of keep her at bay for the moment. I don't want to stress her too much.
You don't want to know.
So
hormones are very high at that moment.
Extremely. She's aware of it. She knows. She goes, you haven't really talked or complained about anything lately. I'm like, I've been good. We know every day's a battle with MS. It's the truth. But
I understand.
Living with it for so long, we learn to cope as best as we possibly can. The biggest symptom that I feel on a regular basis is migraines and MS fatigue. I didn't know what MS fatigue was. I am so energetic. I'm so hyper. I'm always hyper. And I drink Red Bull regularly for energy. And people are like, you don't need that. I'm like, I need the caffeine. It helps me with my migraines when I have them. But regardless of that, with me being so energetic, when I actually felt the MS fatigue, it hit me like a ton of bricks. The best way I can say is that it makes me feel like I need to fall asleep anywhere, everywhere. As soon as I'm there,
Oh,
I just want to
yes.
go to sleep.
Yes, sir.
I'm just sleepy. I'm drowsy. And I'm
Mhm.
like, this can't be right. This is wrong. What's going on with me? Lo and behold, I go to the doctors and they're like, hey, it's MS fatigue is a real thing. And you might be experiencing that from periodic from time to time. So I just learned how to cope with that by praying and just keep it going forward. In Spanish, there's a saying, pa atrás ni pa coger impulso. In English, you just keep moving forward, even if you're inching slowly forward, just don't take a step back. And I'm afraid of that because the moment I take a step back is where I'm afraid that, I'm going to keep going in reverse. Although what I do to cope is I take breaks. I take many breaks, and what I ended up doing was I attach myself to an assistant now. I have a personal assistant that goes with me to every event, no matter the size, small, big, doesn't matter what it is. I've taken a pay cut from my own salary in order to fulfill that. So in case I do feel that I'm as fatigued, in case I do feel that vertigo, or I feel any type of numbness and I feel like something's wrong, I can say, hey, you're well trained, take over. Let me go to the vehicle and let me just relax for a little bit, ease my mind, and continue to, when I'm ready.
So it sounds like you are very good at keeping a good balance. You are aware of your body and you know what it needs when it needs it, and you are prioritizing your plan of care as well. So I'm proud of you because it's difficult when you are busy like that. It's difficult sometimes to prioritize yourself because you're going. You have so many commitments, so many things that you have to do. So kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you. I try. I'm not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I
No, no,
do,
of
mess up
course.
here and there, but
Of course,
who's
but
perfect in this world?
yeah, but it sounds like you also have a good support system.
I do.
That's a good support network,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Even with my own employees that I have, which we're blessed to say we have 12 now and possibly 14, we're about to start hiring again. And they're all aware of my situations. The first thing I talk about when I hire them is like, hey, listen, just giving you the heads up. You might get a lot of last minute phone calls from myself or my partner, and there might be more opportunities that maybe it's not fulfilled in the calendar, but just keep an eye out that if I don't feel right, I will call out and I'll give the responsibility to one of my people in my network. Unless it's a wedding or something really big, then of course, you just got to buckle down, put on your seatbelt, and just keep going because, there's so much planifications that go on with weddings and mitzvahs and stuff like that. You kind of can't call out for those events. No matter how bad you're feeling, you kind of just got to push through it. And if you feel that bad, I'll bring my partner and I'll say, hey, stop what you're doing, send somebody out to that other event. It's not as important. Let's tackle this together and let's get it done. And he's well aware of that and he helps me out with that. So that's good.
That's very good. Those events probably last, like maybe several hours. Are you
Yes.
like a master of ceremony as well? So you're
Yeah.
like
I actually
pumping
have a
up.
degree in broadcast communication.
Oh,
So
nice.
I have a degree in DJing full throttle. But yes, most of my events were not just DJs. When you think of a DJ, you think of someone that's going wiki and playing music. All of my DJs are entertainers. They're not just DJing. If they see everybody sitting down and they're a little shy and tense and they don't want to come out, they're going to get on that mic and they're going to say, hey, listen, come on out. They'll do the cha-cha slide or the Cupid shuffle if they have to with them just to get them going. Although I don't personally like to play those group participation dances, sometimes they're needed in some situations just to break the ice, just to get
To
it
break
going,
the
and then
ice, yeah, of
just
course.
just have fun, just have fun with the people, just have fun with the guests.
Wow, I'm gonna hire you guys. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna put together a
We'll be
party.
there.
Gonna celebrate
Let's
anything.
do
Don't
it.
matter.
All right, let's celebrate life.
Let's celebrate life. Hey, there. I like that. Let's celebrate life. So part of your support system is your wife, like you said, your family. You have a boy, and now you have a baby girl on the way. So how is that going on? How's your wife doing, and how is she coping with your diagnosis throughout the years? Like, how has it been for her?
I promised myself I wasn't going to get teary eyed because every single time I tell this story, I can't help it. And I'm already doing it, which is sad. It was tough. We had this conversation the other day. Obviously, my wife was 6 months pregnant when I got my diagnosis. And it was extremely difficult because we were praying, we were looking at every possible outcome of what I was going through. At that particular time of my life, I was extremely sick. I was having relapses every month, every 2 months, and it was just constant agony, pains, and a wonder of what's really going on. So obviously, at her being 6 months pregnant, and all of a sudden getting this drastic diagnosis. She didn't know how to handle it. She just walked out of that hospital bed like she went to go pray and just like, what's going on? Why is this happening? You know, we were praying so hard and we were hoping that this wouldn't happen, and it happened. It was very difficult in the beginning for my family. They couldn't comprehend that all the things that I was trying to do to better my health and to just really try to pray to see that it wasn't going to be that and that it was that, it was very hard, extremely hard on everyone. And they were in denial for quite a long time. I'll be honest with you. Everyone was except for myself because I was living it, and I was just happy that I actually knew what was going on so I can actually do something about it now. They were devastated. Truth be told, they really were. I had to reassure them that, hey, listen, you know, this is something that you live with. This is something that you cope with. There's treatment out there. Let's just find the right treatment for me, and let's just continue to strive for good health. They're always aware. They're always asking me. It's a little annoying sometimes when they're like, hey, how you feeling? You know, if I ever stumble a little bit or if I trip, like any normal person,
They get
for
worried
them
right
it's,
away, right?
are you okay? What's going on? Is it MS? They're always asking those questions because of this, you know, it's a symptom.
You're walking on glass. You have a slight symptom or whatever that could probably not be anything that is too serious, but right away, you know, you get scared. It's like, oh, it's
Yeah. Well, they get scared. I already know. I just stumbled. I tripped on a Lego for my son or something. But to them, it's like, what's going on? Are you dizzy? Are you there? So that part never left. It happens every single day. Every single time I have a little stumble or I have to grab something to not, you know, to catch my balance. They're always asking me, "Are you okay?" They're like extra, like careful. Like if a little firecracker went off and everybody stumbles, they're like, "What's going on? We're good. It's not MS." So that's the only thing that I noticed that they can never realize that, hey, I'm fine. It's just I lost my balance for a second. It's normal. I'm okay.
yeah. Well, you know, like I told you the other day, it doesn't just affect us; it affects also the people around us in many ways. It's a process for them to, like you said in the beginning, they didn't comprehend. Well, we don't even understand what's going on with us. Can you imagine what's going on through their minds because they don't even feel the things, the weird things that we feel in our bodies. I believe in that we as patients have to give the caregivers and our relatives and people that are in our close circle, you know, family members, we have to give them some time and be kind to them when we are struggling with like a really bad flare up and they don't know how to react or they don't know how to hold your leg and help you put it on the bed, or sometimes because we are irritated, and I'm talking from my own experience, we are too harsh sometimes on them. Oh, I don't know what they're doing or they don't understand, and they need time as well to process and kind of, you know, understand slowly. And as they learn with us, you know, it's like a we learn as we go together, and they start to train, if you will, like for little kids. In my case, for my kids, they had to learn how to give me things, hand things to me. They have to position it in a way that I can hold it. And that only was, you know, a big thing for them. They're little. No, they don't understand. So it's an adjustment for everybody, you know, and especially when somebody loves you so much, you know, they worry and they hurt, even if they don't show it. So they will always be worried, but that's a good sign. They still love you. You know,
They still love
they're
me.
there for you, and that's what we need always to have.
My 6-year-old son, well, he's 5 still, but he's about to be 6. He's finally kind of aware. We brought it up to him that, you know, daddy is not 100%. Daddy's a little sick sometimes, and daddy's, you know, may need a little bit of help. And if he's really tired, you know, let daddy be for a little bit. In the beginning, he didn't understand that. It was very difficult for him to, you know, even comprehend. He doesn't know still what MS or anything like that is.
Now, have you brought up the word multiple sclerosis to him, or you feel like he's too little and you just give him chunks of it, what he needs to know only for now?
He's too little, but we do have a little tiny book pamphlet that they gave us at the neurologist's office that says Daddy has multiple sclerosis or Daddy's not well, and we read that to him as a bedtime story so he understands. I'm like, Papa, that's me. That's your daddy. This is your daddy here. So we always reverse back to that book to say, hey, remember the book. Daddy doesn't feel good right now. Let him be when he wants to go out and play or something. And I'm not up for the challenge at that moment. He understands now, hey, I'm going to leave Papa be because he's not feeling too good. I'll ask him again later. I deal with him a lot in the sense of saying, okay, we can't do this now, but if you let me rest now, I'll do this with you later.
Yeah, there are books provided by the MS Society and the MS Foundation that are for kids, to understand. But I was reading something about how do you like tell your children about it in the I think it was on the MS Society's website, and it's something that reassured me because that's what I did. My little ones were 4 and 5 at the moment, so they couldn't understand much. So I just told them, the basics, but I didn't quite explain too much. I don't think they could comprehend anyways. So over time they started to learn, slowly. Now they know what it's multiple sclerosis and all the complications and stuff. So another thing that you like, I'm not sure if you are still doing this, but you used to play softball. Is that still part of your life to keep you active?
So coincidentally enough, it is and was a huge part of my life. Unfortunately, as of 2 months ago, it is no longer a part of my life, nor will I ever know if it will be. I was unfortunately involved in a serious accident. I was actually hit by a vehicle while on an electric scooter going around 50 miles an hour, and I have a really severe injury to my right knee where I tore every ligament in my knee. So I will be most definitely getting surgery soon, and I just don't know where I stand. The injury was pretty severe, but we had a game last night. My team won. I'm still there, although I didn't go because I had the networking meeting like I spoke to you about earlier. I still support my team and I'm out there coaching them. They're all grown men. I don't coach them, but I, run home or stay put. I belong to a very good softball team that we've won like 4 championships in a row every season. And yes, I still am very much so in the softball community because I get phone calls all the time if I'm eligible to play. I'm okay. I'm not the best player in the world, but I can handle my own. I actually batted 875 the season before I got injured, and that's unheard of. That means that out of every 10 at bats, you get on base almost 9 times. That's insane. That's unheard of.
Wow, look at you.
That was one season. The season before that, I was batting like 400. That's really bad in softball. That's like batting 200 in baseball. The average wise, it's no bueno.
No
But you win some, you
bueno.
lose some. So yes, I am still very much involved in softball. I love the sport.
How
It's my favorite sport
when
of all
was this
time.
this accident that you mentioned? Was it
two
recently or?
months ago, exactly on a Sunday, yeah, I was leaving work. I was on a motorized scooter. Bang bang, got hit.
I'm so
It wasn't
sorry. I
fun.
mean, no, I know. I'm sorry,
It's
but
okay. It's
whoa.
painful. I'm in pain
I
right
can
now, but
imagine.
it's okay.
So wow. So they're looking into maybe doing surgery.
I will be getting surgery. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, okay.
I have no choice. But I tore every ligament. I'm not going to go for like the severe surgery with the ACL. I'm just going to get the meniscal shaving because I have debris all in my knee that keeps scraping on the ligaments and tendons, and it's painful. So just clean it out and see how it goes and see if I can ever play again. I don't know. It's pretty severe.
You also do some pro bono work. You are involved with the MS Society. You participate or DJ for during the MS walks in Florida. Tell me stories about the your experience with the MS walk and the citrus tour. Also, you also are involved with after school care programs, bringing music to the kids, special needs groups.
So with the MS Society and just MS in general, I do many events per year. Well, let's say maybe like 10 events per year where, for instance, just as I spoke to Citrus Tour, the reason why I bring that up constantly is because it's the biggest tour in South Florida for bike MS. It brings about 1,000 supporters to come out and ride. And if they're not riding, they're supporting the riders. It's a 2-day event and it's about a 13-hour day on Saturday and I think about 8 hours on Sunday. And they're riding 75, 100 miles for MS. We get to travel overnight. Well, not overnight. We get to stay at a hotel overnight, which is nice. And we're working from like 6 a.m. Well, technically 5 a.m. in the morning till around 7 p.m. at night. It's a very long day. Of course, like I said, I bring 2 or 3 people with me. Always, change shifts and DJ, and then we go to eat lunch and we take a break. But we're out there, and every time the bikers come in, we're cheering them on and, hey, welcome back. You did it. You made it. Congratulations. Thank you. Every time we start, right before we start, since I have a little bit of time before we start, I always give my MS story. I have a banner that says, your DJ's living with multiple sclerosis. You're writing for me. Thank you. Stuff like that. And it shows my diagnosis year. And so I connect with the writers, one-on-one, and they're like, wow, right before they leave, they have a little bit of an extra push, like the DJ that's providing these sounds, and it's actually we're writing for him. This is pretty cool. So that's work. And then with the after school care, I am privileged. I give a big discount to work for kids that have special needs, whether it's Down syndrome or Asperger's or autism, and I provide sounds for them almost on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis during the summer and during the year. And we go out there for a few hours and just play music for them. Let them have a good time.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you for doing that. I'm sure that they cheer you up, right? Because they are usually
Always,
very
they're the
stimulated
happiest.
by music. It's actually a good therapy for
Very.
them. Yeah,
The thing I love about it is that you can literally play any song you want, and they're gonna love it. They're gonna dance
they
to
will
it.
dance to
So
it.
it's take it as a practice session. You can try out the new tracks that you wanted to try and see how it works. You're like, all right, sounds good,
That's really
and they
cool.
like it.
Yeah. I imagine. I mean, yeah, you're doing a lot of things. I mean, you're very busy, but I love everything that you're doing. So thank you for being part of an active member of the MS community, for always volunteering and staying connected and participating with the MS walks, with the MS Society and all the events. And this that you're doing for the kids really touched my heart. Thank you so much for doing that. I am very close to that group, no special needs children. So I appreciate that from a personal level.
My wife works with special needs cases. That's what she's an RBT, registered behavior therapist. That's what she does for a living.
Well, Giovanni, if people want to hire your services, do you have a website? Please share it with us. Share all your information, your platform, so people can reach out to you and enjoy their party with you.
We are atmsoundsandevents.com is our website, as is spelled ATM, like the ATM bank. Soundsandevents.com is our website. My social media platform is, everyone has an Instagram. It's pretty simple. It's DJ Gio, Gio, Miami. And then you'll see this beautiful face. Just click accept and follow. And we're on Google. We're on every platform there is except for Twitter.
I wish you so much luck with your business. I'm really glad that's going well for you. And I hope that you have a healthy baby girl soon. That
Yes, we're
everything
excited. We
goes
can't
well.
wait.
So,
Yeah, we just saw her yesterday in the ultrasound.
oh,
So
you did. That's so cute.
yeah. I
Oh,
wasn't there. Unfortunately, my wife had to go alone, but she sent me videos and I got to see her.
so thank you, Giovanni. I appreciate you joining us today. I'm so happy finally, we got together and finally got to get your story in my show. So thank you again. And I appreciate everything you do. And
Thank you for having me.
see you next time. Take care, Giovanni.
Absolutely. Thank you.